So anyway, we were talking earlier off camera. How do you decide, what clothes to bring out? And do you have a cycle? Like, how do you?
Well, we basically make things instinctively. It's like what. See that it becomes more, now that you're recording it becomes more formal. It's so funny. Now it's like you've got to think about what you're saying. You've got to put it in a certain different kind of way. It's so funny. No, but we generally don't know what we're doing like every season. It's like we have like a lot of fabrics, and we go through the fabric and say, okay, we want to do this fall, or I feel like wearing that this fall, then we make that.
Okay.
So we don't really plan anything out. It just comes together.
I'm sure everybody's already asked you this, but can you explain the name?
The name is my middle name and her middle name, and we wanted to think of something really simple when we thought of the brand. It's very simple, and that described the brand, So, I thought the best thing to do would be to use both our names, and then,
I love the designers on the other end of the camera.
I thought the best thing to do would be to use both of our names. So and we were watching TV one day, and I was like, well, why don't we just say Ale? Since my middle name is Ale and your middle name is Ange, why don't you say Ale and Ange? So we just stuck and it's like.
So how would you sort of describe your aesthetic?
Well, Eloise does the women's and I do the men's. The men's is basically clothing that I want to be wearing. When we go garment shopping, I look at things and she looks at things. It's like, wow, I like that. I like to wear that in a dress. Or I say I like to wear that in a shirt. Blah blah. So we just buy the fabric and then we make it.
Okay. And I asked you this earlier, and we got a kind of funny response. But how do you define your style, or do you even have a?
I don't think I have a style. I think I have style, but not a particular style, because we can all wear anything.
Right.
You get what I'm saying, right? And make it ours, as opposed to like saying, okay, this is my style. I only wear things like this. And I think I don't have a style. I hope I have style. I believe I have style. And then Eloise has style as well, but she doesn't have a style, a particular style. Right. We just like clothing. That's awesome. Anything that we like, we wear.
And you made it.
We made it. So it's not really as if you look at the things, it's like there's some pretty basic things. There's some things that are like more not risque, but more edgy, a little bit edgier. Not really, but seem to be a bit edgier than the rest of the stuff. So it's
respectful answer. Now, I've been fortunate enough to sort of interview stores which have a great playlist. Right. What are your favorite music choices when you're sitting here on?
Well, I mean, I'd sit here all day listening to jazz, but she's like, jazz is not. I'd sit here all day listening to jazz, and she's like, well, I don't have a favorite. Just a lot. And she's like, you can't play this in here. So we listen to a lot of soul music in here now.
Yep. My last question would be, the last time I visited, you said you didn't have any formal training. You kind of picked it up and learned it as you went. Can you explain that to my readers and how you came about? You have some great products. So.
Well, when I was growing up, I was born in England. I moved to Nigeria, and I went to boarding school in Nigeria. So it's like very, and I would look at my seniors in school and the way they dressed and blah blah. My elder brothers. So this is basically I think my style came from that. Came from seeing. All these kids who would go to England, come back, get all this stuff, come back to Africa and wear it in a completely different way,
right.
And I guess, yeah. I lost the question, didn't I? What was the question, sorry?
So how did you come about, training yourself?
Oh, right, into design.
I think you're talking about style again. It's going to be a great interview. I'm telling you, everybody's going to love this.
Oh, it's so funny.
I'm not editing it.
Oh, yeah? You're going to kill me. You're going to kill me. No, well, my mom is a garment designer.
Okay.
And she had a factory in Nigeria, actually, and I would go there and I'd just hang out. I just see people sewing. And we used to sew our own school uniforms.
Oh, okay.
Because I went to boarding school and we made our own school uniforms, so I learned how to how to like sew, you know, just by studying clothing.
Okay.
You know, I did have a little bit of formal training, but then I went to school and I realized that they're like trying to like train me to make clothing. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And I couldn't do it. So I would have arguments. I went to school for maybe like a week. I had like an argument, a serious argument with my professor, and that was it.
I'll ask one more question because I'm curious about it. But so you're from London, Nigeria.
I'm from West Africa. I'm from Nigeria. I was born in England, but I'm West African.
West African, and she's French, correct?
French Jamaican.
French Jamaican.
Jamaican
So
French.
Do you find that a lot of your cultural backgrounds come into the clothes, or do you think it's just a way, a pattern of how you grew up and the people you saw?
I think for me, it's a bunch of different things, but I think it's a lot of mostly our background, people were around. You know, she did a lot of traveling when she was young. I did a lot of traveling when I was young as well. You know, and just being exposed to different cultures, I think brings us